Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our second week of orientation program. For those of you that came today, do we have any students that came today for first day? Welcome, welcome to Cyprus. Welcome to European University Cyprus. So for those of you that don't know me by now, I am Miss Angela Georgiadou, Student Affairs Officer, responsible for student life, student activities, and student clubs. Okay, the new thing today is that we also have with us, connected with live streaming, Cyprus College Limassol. So we welcome the new students, the freshmen of Cyprus College Limassol. Thank you for joining us today. And we will gonna start our program today with a presentation from Mrs. Dr. Fanny Ponirou. Dr. Ponirou, she is a registered counseling psychology and she is of the KEPSYPA. She's gonna explain you better than me what KEPSYPA is, and she's also gonna have a presentation for you for the Committee for Students with Special Educational Needs. Following that presentation, we are gonna have a very, very useful presentation about how to study effectively from Ms. Gianna Christofi and Ioanna Ioannou. Both are officers of the Committee of Special Education of Students with Special Educational Needs. And later on, we are going to go on and present you for the next presenter. So, Dr. Ponirou, please come on the stage.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome on board. My name is Fanny Ponirou, and I'm a registered counseling psychologist. I'm a special psychologist at the Center of Applied Psychology and Personal Development. Today, I'm going to present some information about our center, also known as KEPSYPA. The official opening was in September of 2016, and it is based on prevention, assessment, and therapy. It is a service offering free of charge psychological support, counseling, and psychotherapy to the community of EUC, including students, academic, and administrative staff. Some information about the services we offer for students and staff. First, we offer psychological assessment and individual therapy. Also, we offer group therapy, and soon we announce more information about our anxiety management group and the self-improvement group. And finally, we offer psychoeducation seminars to staff, like referrals and the management of complex cases. I would like to introduce you the KEPSYPA staff. Our head is Dr. Panagiotis Parpotas. The special psychologist is obviously me, Fanny Ponirou. Also, we have psychologists, including clinical and counseling psychology trainees. And of course, we have our KEPSYPA call center. Now, how you can find us. Our working hours are Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can call at our call center at 2255-9501. Also, you can send us an email at kepsypa@euc.ac.cy. I would like to inform you that we work only by scheduled appointments and that during the academic year. And I would also like to inform you that our center remains closed for Christmas break, for the 2 weeks of Christmas break, and for the 2 weeks of Easter break, and also for the month of August. Also, I would like to add that our new address is 11 Archangelou Street. Also, something about the Cyprus college students and staff in Limassol. During the first week of classes, we will come by and provide you with information about the center there. Thank you.
I would like to thank our entire audience. I'm Yana Christofi, Special Educator and Committee with Special Educational Needs Officer. Introduction to Committee for Students with Special Educational Needs. The identification of students with academic and other difficulties take place after the student's official registration to the university as follows. During the registration induction process, by student self-referral, referral by a university administrative officer or academic personnel, referral by third parties or organizations who have the student's right and consent to conduct the fair. Now, students who can be evaluated by the committee are students with learning difficulties, reading disorder, dyslexia, mathematics disorder, dyscalculation, expression disorders, learning disorders not otherwise specified, special learning disorders with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, hearing impairment, vision impairment, movement disability, psychological disorder and emotional distress, health problems. Some examples of academic accommodation are extenuating circumstances for the submission of an assignment, additional time in examination, and expansion from marking of spelling, punctuation, syntax, and grammar mistakes in written examination. Appointments can be arranged either via phone at 22559-509 every Monday to Thursday from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. or via email to efea, E-F-E-E-A, at euc.cy. Our location is 250 meters south of EUC and 200 meters west of Coffeeberry, 11 Archangelou Street. Thank you. Now I will present you some target academic success, how to study effectively. The specific presentation which you choose to attend present target basic guideline to inform you, to guide you in effective reading strategies. First of all, introduction. Gain useful tips and methods to help you achieve the best possible academic result and a lifetime love of learning and knowledge. Studying is a skill that can be learned and needs to be taught. 15 tips to study effectively. First of all, organize your study in advance and set a reading schedule. Before you start reading, make sure you have organized your study in such a way that you know that you will have enough time until the day of the exam. Organization of the study time. Indicated the days and hours of your reading. Prepare to do a list. How many hours a day and for how many days do you need to study to cover the material? How many repetitions will you do and how long will it take you? These questions need to be answered from the beginning. They will save you from vain worry and anxiety. Second, make your study interesting. We can safely assume that reading can turn into a boring and a passive activity. Try to maintain an active reading attitude. Take handwritten notes with key points of each chapter or section you read, as writing things down proves to enhance learning. Try to come up. Think of questions that you may be asked about the material you study. Write them down at the end of each chapter. Alternatively, try to think of questions that synthesize information from different chapters. Third, create an aesthetically pleasing and well-organized space for reading. Studying needs a place which suits you and you feel comfortable. It can be our office, the living room, or the library of our school. The important thing is to be quiet and eliminate external distraction as much as you can. It should be a well-lit and comfortable place. Always try to study in the same place to connect it with the study process. Find the hours when your mind is most relaxed and study then. Usually these are the morning hours for most people, as the brain is relaxed after a good sleep. Before you start reading, make sure you have everything you need for your study. Pencil, pens, notebooks, fluorescent marker. Getting up every time you look for something you are missing works divisibly for your concentration. 4. Avoid using the internet and the social media while you are studying. Almost everyone now takes it for granted that they should be online. The use of mobile and internet is an integral part of their daily life. However, while you are studying, your mobile phone is to be turned off or silent, and you should only check it during your break. Also, avoid being on the internet the same time you read, as your concentration will be severely tested. 5. Take breaks during the study. Many consider break a waste of time, and others abuse it. The truth is that your brain needs a break during the study to rest. Take a 15-minute break for every 50 minutes of study. These times are not absolute, but count them approximately. During the break, do something completely different. Have a snack or take a walk. Do not turn on the TV or computer, as it will be quite difficult to limit your break time. 6. Put on some classical music. Some people find it beneficial when listening to music while studying. You can try classical music, which is thought to be enhancing the study environment. Or you can try a relaxation music, natural sounds. You can explore and find that works best for you. Music optimizes the function of the brain that stores and retrieves information. 7. Try to keep as hydrated as possible. Systematic water consumption has a profound effect on brain function and energy level. Even a slight dehydration can cause a small but critical construction in the brain, leading to decreased concentration and thinking. So, do not forget to keep yourself hydrated. Caffeine causes further dehydration because it is a diuretic and causes water loss from the body. If you need coffee to get you through exam, make sure you follow it up with a glass of water. 8. Exercise. Keep active during the exam period. Even when you feel like you don't have time to exercise, find the time. 30 minutes of exercise daily can increase your happy hormones and help negate the negative side effects of stress, such as poor sleep quality and negative mood.
Hello, I'm Ioanna Ioannou, Committee for Students with Special Education Needs Officer. Number 9, good nutrition and rest. Good nutrition and rest are the foundations of study. We depend on the physiology of our body, and the brain, as an integral part of the body, needs energy and rest to function. Our sleep rests. Our food gives us energy. So, keep it simple and not negotiable. Do not neglect them, never. Get a study partner to quiz you. Group study is convenient for people who prefer to study with others. It is effective for learning complex topics and supports peer relationships. However, group study must be done carefully so as not to waste time on socialization. Use motivation and rewards for yourself. Mobilizing yourself to start or finish reading is a pretty smart and effective technique. Motivation is the reason you read. It is your ultimate goal. Write your goals on a paper and place them in a prominent place so that you can see them continuously. You can also use rewards. Promise yourself something pleasant when you finish the study in order to have something to look forward to. This will be your reward. It can be a coffee break outdoors, or your favorite movie, or a relaxing bath. Whatever you crave is good for your reward. Keep in mind this equation. Taking notes plus making notes equals better studying. Taking and making notes is a note-taking strategy that uses a whole brain approach, stimulates creativity, and reduces study time. Includes taking notes, recording important information provided by the teacher, and notes along with research-reviewed chapters and summaries. Applied to Cornell method, divide the page into 2 columns. Mark the content on the right and mark the keywords on the left central idea. At the end, make a summary of your notes. Try out questions, reading, information retrieval. Talk to your instructors. Your instructors and advisors are there to support and guide you to achieve the maximum of your potential. Do not hesitate to ask for help and clarifications, as well as to visit your instructors at the scheduled office hours. Take the initiative, contact them beforehand via email so you are not left wondering about the answers to your questions. Repetition. Organize how many repetitions you will do until the day of exam. Study your notes again and review them in regular time. Use spaced repetition is a learning technique where you review material and increasingly spaced materials to improve long-term retention. What recent research and studies show is that repeating something to yourself over and over again without interruption between repetitions is an effective mnemonic. An interesting video is following about Pareto principal rules.
If you want to get the most out of your study sessions, then this video will show you how to study more in less time using the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule is also known as the Pareto principle. The definition states that 80% of the effects comes from 20% of the causes. 80% of what we achieve is a direct result of 20% of the actions we take. There are a small number of certain activities you do every day which are creating the most of your happiness or unhappiness and most of your results, but whether they're good or bad. Here are some examples. 20% of what you spend your time on doing gives you 80% of your happiness. You wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. 20% of the people you know stands for 80% of how happy you are with your social life. So how does this apply to your studies? 20% of the studying you're doing is leading to the majority of your results. When it comes to exams, because of the limited time they have to test your knowledge on a subject, you will be tested on the most important ideas of the course, which tends to be about 20% of the material they teach. The key is to focus 80% of your time studying the core content that is going to be on your exam. The hardest thing is eliminating things that are less important. So how do you figure out what 20% is the most important? In most classes, only the content discussed in class is on the exam. If it's not talked about in class, you probably don't need to spend most of your time learning it. Notice how long a teacher spends talking about a topic. If they talk about it in depth and spend a lot of time in class, it's probably something you're going to want to remember for the exam. When a teacher says, this is the type of question you'll see on the exam, pay attention to that and write it down, because they're not kidding when they say it's a possible exam question. Remember to understand instead of only memorizing. You can build your foundation by understanding the core idea of the material, and starting from that, it becomes a lot easier to understand the rest. Remember that I'm not asking you to ignore 80% of your course content. Read the material, but make sure you're spending most of your study time on the key ideas that matter. When you seek to understand, you will be able to apply your knowledge to more advanced questions and even connect the dots with other areas. The 80-20 rule doesn't tell us not to work. Instead, it encourages us to work on the things that gives us maximum results. Put in the effort and work hard on the right things that leads to maximum results, and you'll notice how your performance in school improves. What changes could you make in your life today based on the 80-20 principle? Let me know and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.
For any further information, you can stop by our office, which is located at the same building with KEPSYPA. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, let's get limitless. How do you study anything quickly?
So we go on. Thank you very much, both of you, for the useful tips. And now we proceed with a very useful presentation for you, anxiety and stress, how to cope with my feelings. No matter what we do, I suppose you know by now, but you are going to see in your academic life as well. Whatever we do, doesn't matter how organized we are, if we have everything intact, there's going to be stress in our lives. This is a fact. So what we want to help you now is to give you some tips how to recognize, first of all, when you have stress, because sometimes we don't even realize that what we are facing is stress, and then how we cope with this. So for this presentation, we have here with us today Ms. Andrea Christodoulou, lecturer in clinical psychology, and Ms. Elena Constantinou, that she is from the Department of Social Behavioral Sciences, a lecturer in research methods. Please come on the stage.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the European University Cyprus. I hope you're excited for the beginning of your studies. We're going to take a bit of time to do some practical things before we start. We prepared a small presentation where we'll talk to you a little bit, but we will do a few exercises as well, and this is what we're trying to prepare. So Dr. Christodoulou and myself work in research, and Dr. Christodoulou in practice as well, with emotions and feelings and what do we do with them. But today we chose to talk to you about anxiety and stress, especially because it is something that a lot of people experience, and it can cause a lot of distress worldwide. Perfect. Excellent. So this is a visualization from a recent European poll. This is 2021 data across European countries, and you can see that for most European countries in the general population, about 30 to 40% of people experience stress every day. In some countries like Cyprus, this percent in Cyprus is up to 53% of the population. That's half of the people experiencing stress every day. So when we talk about a stress epidemic, it's not really so much of an exaggeration. Stress is in our life every day. And what do you think about university students? Are they more or less stressed than the general population? More, yes, yes. So this is again 2021 data across Europe. About 40 to 60% of students experience anxiety and stress every day. In the USA, this is even higher. And we know from research that there is more stress in some fields than others. So psychology students, medicine students, nursing students, all the kind of more health-related degrees experience more stress. And we also know that first-year students experience more stress than all the other years. And it makes sense because the first year, there's a lot of changes happening. So it can be very exciting, but it can also be a stressful period. And that is why we decided today to tell you a little bit about the theory of what stress is and what do we know about the ways to cope with it. And I'll start by defining stress and telling you a little bit how it differentiates from anxiety. We use the two words very often in our daily lives as if they are the same thing, but they are not. So stress, it is how our mind and our body responds to a challenging and threatening situation. So there is an external source, something we call a stressor. There's something very specific out there that our system needs to adapt to. And this process of adaptation is what we call stress. On the other hand, anxiety, it's a persistent feeling of worry, and it is completely internal in the sense that you don't need something out there to experience anxiety, okay? It is actually a feeling directed towards something in the future, and it is something completely undefined. And I'll give you an example. Let's say that you just moved to a new country or to a new city to study. You need to find a place to stay. Maybe you need to find a flatmate. You need to figure out how you will go to the university. You may need to buy furniture for your place. You may need to register for your courses. You just have a lot of things, very practical things to do. And it could be overwhelming, just having all those things to do at once. That can cause the experience of stress. At the same time, though, you may feel anxiety. You may worry. Will I like my place? Will I like my flatmates? Will I like my courses? Will I do okay? Will it be easy? Will it be difficult? You don't know yet what could go wrong, okay? It's in the future and you don't know anything about it, but you can experience worry about that. So that is the difference between stress and anxiety. Stress always needs something external. And what this external thing could be, in reality, a stressor can be anything that we consider to be a challenge. It can be anything from natural disasters and war to changing your job, moving somewhere new, or just having an argument with your best friend, or having a long to-do list. Anything could be a stressor. But what is important to remember is that being in a situation doesn't always cause stress. People differ in the way they experience situations. It is our interpretation and our evaluation of the situation that can result in stress. And we're going to talk a little bit about this further on in the next exercise.
Hello from me too. As my colleague said, anxiety, stress comes in different shapes and forms. Some of us feel a lot of stress, some of us feel some stress, some anxiety. So let's do an exercise by using the QR code. Scan the QR code with your mobile phones. If any one of you cannot do that, please raise your hand so my colleague can pass on some flyers with the QR code. So what is the exercise? We need to get into the shoes of someone that might feel stressed. She's in a situation that she might feel stressed. We have Maria. She's a first-year student, and midterm exams are coming up next week. She's still trying to finish her assignments for 3 classes, and in the meantime, she needs to start studying for next week's exams. Time doesn't seem to be enough for Maria, and she finds the material too much in a short amount of time. So, if you try to get into the shoes of Maria, if you are Maria, if you are Kostas, Marios, whatever name you are, and you're in similar situations, how would you react? How would you address these situations? What pop-ups into your mind? Just write it on the essay provided to you. It's anonymously, so no one answers will be presented here with their names on, so write whatever you think, feel, how would you react in this situation. So we have, I will start crying, panic, die, so it's the ultimate reaction. Sleep, okay. Γιατί δεν το κάνουμε share όμως. So panic. Οπότε να το αφήσω έτσι, ναι. I don't know, coffee, panic again, stressed, a good meal, laugh out loud, okay, eat, chaos, panic again, eat again, sleep, drink, okay. We have call my mom. So we have a repetition of crying, wanting to die, eating, drinking, feeling nervous. Inhale and exhale, so this is a good one. It's a different one, basically. Just let it be. With panic again. Smoke weed, okay. Smoke. Meditation. Procrastination because of panic. Give up, take a coffee. Start studying, okay. Panic, stress. Calmly, peacefully, yoga and meditation. Thinking an image that relaxes me. Insomnia, okay, it causes me insomnia. Go to the gym, listen to music. Poker face, Lady Gaga poker face, or not sleeping and preparing for the exams. Okay. Okay. So, as you all could be, So, if I have your attention back again, to try to understand what your responses are, what type of responses you wrote here. We have different type of responses. We have specifically four type of responses. From what you wrote, I do define emotional responses and behavioral responses, the two in the edges. Emotional response is how we react based on what we are feeling. I feel something and I react to my experience. Might be I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling panic, some of you. Well, panic can be a behavioral reaction too, but okay. You might feel angry, you might feel agitated, you might feel sad, depressed. So we have a lot of feelings, which is our emotional response. And the other one was the behavioral response that you wrote. Some of you said, most of you said, I will start crying. Some of you said, I want coffee, I will drink, I will do something else instead of what's stressing me. So this is avoidance. I avoid doing what is the one that stressed me most. You might feel, you might want to be isolated from anyone. Go, get up into my room, close the door, and not talk, meet, or interact with anyone. So we have different types of behaving, reacting towards what stresses us. And we also have another two types of responses, which is the cognitive response, which is how we think, how our mind reacts to a stressful situation. So I think I'm stupid. I think I will fail the exam. I think I want to die. I think I won't be successful in this career path that I'm following on. So it's how we think about a situation. And the last one is the physiological response, which is how our body reacts to a situation. It's from our heart, fast heart rate. Every time I see my professor, which is a difficult course of, statistics, my heart starts racing very fast. I have butterflies in my stomach. I feel dizzy, lightheaded. I might start sweating. So we have a lot of reactions coming from our body in response to an experience, a stressful experience. However,
so from what you've said and what my colleague just mentioned, it's obvious that stress is something unpleasant, but is it something bad for us? The answer is no, or at least not always. I want to remind you that stress is a natural response. It's what our system does to effectively adapt to something in the environment. So we need a little bit of stress. A little bit of stress is useful to make us successful in whatever it is that is a challenge to us, whatever it is that we are striving for. Imagine having an exam, for example, and being not stressed at all. You're probably too bored to study. You may find it boring or just indifferent or unmotivated. But if you have a little bit of stress, then you may increase your effort. You may start paying a bit more attention. You may start studying. If you're writing an assignment, you may read a bit more resources. So you try a little bit more. And there is one level of stress that can be different for each and every one of us. But there is one level of stress, sort of about medium levels, in which we can do our best performance. We can be at top of our attention, top of our motivation, top of our effort. We do our best studying, prepare the best assignment we can prepare, do our best, okay? So to do our best, we need to have an average level of stress. But any kind of stress above that, then if you have too much, then it starts having the opposite effects. If we are too stressed, then we start getting too anxious, maybe too anxious to be concentrated while we're studying. We may go to the exam and boom, everything we study, we remember nothing of it because we have become too stressed. So what I want you to remember is that stress is good. Stress is useful. Stress can help us to go wherever it is we want to go. But if it gets too much, it can be counterproductive. So when we find ourselves in those situations, we all try to do something to reduce the levels of stress. And we're going to do another exercise. It's quite similar to the previous one, but now instead of an example, I'd like you to remember one time in your lives that you had experienced stress. What did you do at that point to relieve your stress? How did you cope with stress? Or maybe there are strategies that people you know use to relieve their stress. So I'd like to tell me specifically, what do you do? It could be successful, it could be not successful. The question is, what did you do the last time you were in this situation? Or, yeah, your friends or other people you know. Okay, excellent. Oh, there's a lot of weed, by the way. I would go out to relax, panic, leave some assignments behind. That's very interesting. Listen to music, go to the gym, hydration, watching football, something I do not know what that is. Go for a run, play at the casino, work out, dance, sleep, dancing, lots of dancing, basketball, being in agony, eat, music, lots of music and walking and exercise. Oh my God, pain, suffering, death, okay. Panathinaikos came up, so football, meet my friends and play video games and chill and listen to Cardi. I'm assuming that is, Cardi B, okay. I do not know. Champions League, yeah, my friend. So force myself to not compare my work to my friend's work, okay? Somebody wants to do genocide like Julius Caesar, please don't. We work here too. Breathing exercises. And so lots of music, exercise, breathing. Some of these things we've already responded to. These are all excellent responses. Drugs, alcohol, sex. No, I'm okay. So, these are all very good strategies, or at least very widely used strategies. So what we know in research is that all the different ways that we use to cope with stress, we can largely break them into two main categories. There are more, but I'm not going to bore you with too much stuff. So we have strategies that are more problem-focused and strategies that are more emotion-focused. Problem-focused strategies have to do with confronting a stressor, okay? It's when you do something directly to fix the problem. Of all the things that you said, one of them kind of would fit this category. Somebody said, I will not do all the assignments. That is one way to cope with stress by changing the stressor, okay? It could be study harder, don't go out and study, or take the notes from another colleague and see what they wrote. It could be even going to your professor and asking, what's going to be in the exam? Is it going to be easy? Or please make it easy. Please don't do that. But it is one way of trying to change the stressor. These are very successful strategies, by the way. But most of your examples were emotion-focused strategies. So strategies that have nothing to do with the stressor. You don't try to change the stressor. You're trying to change your own reaction to it. So trying to do something to feel better. All your examples of weed and music and going to the gym and breathing exercises, they would all fall into this large category of emotion-focused coping. Because sometimes that is all we can do, as in sometimes all we can change is our reaction to something. And we as psychologists are particularly interested in this kind of strategies. And my colleague Andrea will tell you a little bit more about different types.
So, as my colleagues mentioned earlier, we have different types of coping. We will focus on the about regulating our emotion. Regulating means we try to control it, we try to avoid it, we try to, accept it. Now, let's see which type of emotion coping strategies we suggest. As mentioned in a previous presentation by other colleagues, we need to do our daily coping, which is eating balanced meals, exercise regularly, sleep well, and take a time out. It's important, I am staying on this part, it's important to try and take a time out. As a student, I didn't take a time out. I was always stressed about doing my assignments, reading, go to classes, be there, study hard. After a while, a professor of ours told us, okay, if you don't take care of your body, then your mind won't work. Okay, so what do you need to do to take care of your body? Okay, you need to sleep 8 full hours. You need to drink water, I mean. Okay, you can drink some alcohol, but it's not suggested by us. You need to drink water, eat well, exercise. Exercise, it doesn't mean to go to the gym 8 hours a day. Exercise means using the stairs to go up and down. Exercise means to do a yoga, something more relaxing. Do exercise. Help our body get into fit so that our mind follows it. Next, we have another suggestion, which is about talking about our feelings. Some of us, because I am a clinical psychologist, I'm a mental health professional, I have some clients that they might, as a strategy, they do not talk about their feelings. They say, no, I don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. This is not the case. You need to talk about how you're feeling. You may write it in a diary. You may record yourself. You may, if you are good in arts, you may draw it out. You may talk in a mirror. I, myself, talk a lot. I use a lot of self-talk. I talk in my car. I talk when I'm angry. I talk when I'm sad. I talk to myself a lot because it helps me process of what I'm feeling, take it outside and see it out there, the monster. I see those feelings. I accept those feelings as they are. And if it's not helpful doing self-exercises, we might need to seek help by a professional. Here at the EUC, we have the KEPSYPA, which was mentioned earlier. You can seek for professional help if you cannot cope with your feelings, with your thoughts, with anything related to your academics. Another helpful strategy is about using our social network, our friends, our parents maybe, some other colleagues. We need to get it out there. If we cannot process it by ourselves, we need to check another person's perspective. If I talk to a friend, he might tell me, what's that? It's nothing. I'll go study and it will be okay. If I process it with myself and think it a lot, myself will answer in the same question. This is a lot, you cannot take it, feel more anxious. This is a lot, you cannot take it, feel more anxious. My friend, my colleague, whatever, someone else might give me another perspective. Or they might just be there with me, just be there and bear with me these difficult feelings. Give me empathy. This is important too. It's not only by giving us advices, but it's also just being there and support us silently. It's okay. Another one, we talk about triggers, what triggers our emotions, our reactions. So we need to check every time we're calmly, you're sitting here, I believe you're not feeling anxious, I believe, and you go outside and your anxiety picks up. What happened? With whom? Who were there? Where were you? What triggered that emotion? You can check, you can make a list of that. Okay, now I'm feeling calm, and in the next moment, I'm feeling stressed. I sweat, I feel dizzy, I have a hard beat rate. So what happened? Check with whom were you with? Where were you? You can see objects, emotions, behaviors, thoughts. So a thought might trigger an anxiety situation. A person can trigger that. So it's important to be present, to be mindful, and try to see what happens to us in what kind of situations. Another one is how we challenge those unhelpful thoughts. We can see a YouTube video about a technique called catch it, check it, change it, and we talk about a bit more later after the video. Just a second to resolve that. Close YouTube.
Our thoughts, feelings, and behaviours.
Bear with us a little bit, just we have some technical issues.
Θα δοκιμάσουμε να βάλουμε παρουσίαση.
Sorry for the delay. So we cannot see the video, something does not want to work out. Basically, it's a video of what I'm going to talk about. If I have your attention again, sorry for... we might...
Πώς μπορούμε να κάνουμε για να δούμε τούτο? Θέλουμε να δείξουμε το βίντεο. Απλά να το βάλουμε... Φαίνεται τώρα?
Continually affect each other, and it's easy to develop negative patterns.
So if we take a minute to silent and just watch the video would be excellent. Thank you.
Where unhelpful thoughts lead to unhelpful feelings and actions. Sometimes this can become a vicious cycle. Many of us don't realise that we can influence this process and that this can improve our mental health. The best way to deal with these unhelpful thoughts is to recognise them, challenge them, and see if you can replace them. Some people call this the catch it, check it, change it approach. With practice, this can help us look at perceived problems from a different perspective. For example, you might be worried about an important task you have to do at work, convinced it will go wrong and everyone will think you're a failure. Rather than immediately accepting this thought and feeling even worse, take a moment to catch it and check it. Ask yourself whether there's good evidence for it or if there are other explanations. Try thinking about what you would say to a friend who was thinking this way. Finally, see if you can change the thought for a more positive one. Maybe, I'm prepared, I've put a lot of work in, and I'm going to do my best. Sometimes you will be able to change the thought to a positive one, but don't worry when at other times you can't. There are no right or wrong answers. It's about learning to think more flexibly and be more in control. By catching the thought, checking it, and seeing if you can change it, with practice, you can help break the negative cycle.
So, what we just saw So we just saw a strategy, a helpful strategy that we might use every day. What is this strategy? Okay, we're outside our class and we're starting to feel anxious. Okay, let's catch that anxious feeling. Let's just monitor, be aware of what we're thinking, feeling, and how we behave. This is the first step, to catch the emotion. Every day we go by feeling stress without catching it. This is an adaptive way of coping with our everyday chores, our everyday responsibilities. It's okay to feel stress, we said earlier, but when that stress causes us a pathological emotion of reacting to that situation, that we need to do something about it. One way of doing something about it is catching that thought, that feeling, and writing down. Maybe it's a thought diary. Maybe it's just coming to the present moment and think what I'm thinking now. What goes in my mind right now? Okay, I catch it. Then I try to be a detective, a scientist, and try to prove that thought, trying to find evidence for that thought. I'm thinking, okay, I need to study 24/7 to pass this exam. Do I? Do I need 24 hours a day to study to pass this exam? In my previous experiences, studying for another class, did I study 24 hours? No. Okay, so I try to check it. This is not true. This is not a valid thought. What can I do about this non-valid thought? Okay, I try to change it. So it's about reframing my kind of thinking. Okay, a kind of thinking that might be helpful is that, okay, I need to study for 8 hours to pass this exam. I need to get my colleagues' notes to pass this exam. All will be okay. I will be okay. I will pass this exam because I read a lot. I am a good listener in class, so I try to change that unhelpful thought to a more helpful one. As in the video said, not always a thought can be changed. Not everything can be in our control. I cannot stop thinking that I am a failure, so what should I do? I cannot stop feeling anxious, so what can I do else? This is the last one, the last suggestion, which is about accepting our feelings, accepting the fact that I will always be anxious. I'm standing here right now and I'm feeling anxious, but I accept it and I continue to talk about this stuff. I am in the class, I'm about to write an exam, I have a lot of stress, but I do write an exam. So let's see a video about how acceptance works.
It often seems like we've got a struggle switch at the back of our mind. And as soon as an uncomfortable emotion, a painful feeling or memory shows up, it's like the struggle switch goes on and we start to struggle with it. So let's suppose anxiety shows up, a very common painful emotion that we all get to experience. Anxiety shows up, the struggle switch goes on. Oh, here's anxiety, I don't like anxiety, I want to get rid of my anxiety. Now I've got anxiety about my anxiety. So it's getting bigger. With the struggle switch on, I now get, oh, my anxiety's getting bigger. How do I get rid of my anxiety? Now I've got even more anxiety. With the struggle switch on, I may then get angry about my anxiety. Why does this anxiety keep showing up? I hate this anxiety. Then I might even start to feel sad about my anger. Oh, is this my life? Oh, and then I may start to feel guilty about my sadness about my anger. Oh, how pathetic am I when there's starving kids in Africa? So with my struggle switch on, my emotions get amplified. I've now got guilt about my sadness, about my anger, about my anxiety, And that kind of amplification of emotions gives them more impact and influence over my life and often gets me bogged down or pulls me into self-defeating behaviors. Now, what happens if I can switch off the struggle switch? With the struggle switch off, anxiety shows up, and it's not that I like it or want it or approve of it, it's just I'm not going to struggle with it. I'm not going to invest my time, energy, and effort in struggling with this anxiety. Instead, I'm going to invest it in doing meaningful, life-enhancing activities, such as spending quality time with my friends and family or playing with my kids. Now, with the struggle switch off, the anxiety is free to move. It may get higher, it may get lower, it may move quickly, it may move slowly, but the point is it's free to move. It doesn't get amplified by all of these other emotions which make it kind of bigger and stickier and make it hang around for a lot longer. So there's no such thing as a life without anxiety. It shows up for all of us. But when anxiety shows up and the struggle switch is off, it's so much easier to live with than when the struggle switch is on.
So, from this video, we can see that, we can see that if we try to struggle, this is the struggle switch, we try to control our feelings. Imagine our feelings as a monster being there always with us. Our stress is right here next to us. If we try to push, try to fight with our monster, what we did? We lost the touch with what is important to us. If I try, you are in an argument with a stranger in a car. He suddenly stops his car, you suddenly stop your car also, and you start to struggle with him. Try to argue with him, with her. What do you lose? You lose your time at first. You lose being punctual at your job, at your work, at your class. So you lose some important things to you. This is the same way as we do with our feelings. If we try to struggle with those feelings, okay, we can struggle with our feelings, we can control our feelings, but sometimes controlling our feelings, it's not always the most important thing to do. The most important thing to do is just accepting that, okay, my monster is here, it's next to me, it's in a shape of a monster, it's in a shape of a mountain, it's in a shape of whatever I'm feeling most, but I continue to go where it's important to me. We're first-year students. What's important to you is to pass the first year of studies, to go to the second year of studies, the third, the fourth, whatever. This is what is important to you. Someday it's important to you to be a professional in what area you are studying. So this is what you need to do. You need to reorient yourself from fighting those feelings to do what is important to you. I feel anxious every time I'm doing an exam. Okay, what is important for me? Is it important to pass the exam? Yes. Okay, what I need to do? I need to study. Okay, how will I study? I will do this, that. Okay, we do a plan. We do a plan of how we study. We do a plan of how we cope with what is important to us. So go into yourself and find what is important to you and stop struggling with those feelings. Not all of these strategies will work for everyone. If none of these will work for you, then you might need to seek help from a professional. So it is important to observe how we're feeling, how we're behaving, and what our thoughts are, so we need to know what we should do to be more mentally healthy. Thank you very much. And good luck with everything.
If there are any questions?
Do you have any questions about what we said today? Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Miss Andrea and Miss Elena, for your very useful presentation. And now we go on with our presentation, It's Smart to Improve Your Academic Performance. And for this presentation, we have here with us, she's already standing by my side, Dr. Elena Hadjibei. She's a lecturer and coordinator of the Nutrition and Dietetics program. For your academic success, a lot of factors play a role, and your nutrition is one factor very important for that. You are busy, you have a busy schedule, so we want to give you some tips how you can eat smart. And now we have for this presentation Dr. Hadjibei.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elena Hadjibei, coordinator of Nutrition and Dietetics of the European University of Cyprus. First of all, I would like to welcome you to European University and wish you a happy and successful academic year. I'm very happy to be here with you to talk about the importance of nutrition in academic performance. Academic performance is not only dependent on studying. Of course, you have to study, but also nutrition plays a vital role. More and more studies support the importance of good nutrition on concentration, memory, and mental performance. If nutrition is combined with study and good sleep, then we have the triptych of success: nutrition, study, sleep. There are specific nutrients such as B-complex vitamins, and especially folate, omega-3 fatty acids, and iron that have an essential role in brain functioning. Therefore, students should include these dietary components in their diet in order to sharpen their brain. Let's see where we can find these nutrients in food. Where we can find folate. We can find folate in vegetables, and especially in dark green leafy vegetables, such as spinach, Brussels sprouts, lettuce, asparagus, broccoli. We can find it also in pulses, in nuts, in seeds, in fruits, liver. We can find it in whole grains, seafood, and eggs. Regarding omega-3 fatty acids, we can find omega-3 fatty acids in fish, and especially fatty fish, such as salmon, tuna, sardines. We can find it also in nuts and seeds. We can find it in avocado. Good sources of iron are red meat, liver, seafood, pulses, and again, leafy greens. Just to highlight that iron from animal foods is absorbed more efficiently than iron from plant foods. But there is a way to increase the absorption of iron from plant foods by combining plant sources of iron with foods rich in vitamin C. Where we can find vitamin C? Good sources of vitamin C are citrus fruits, tomatoes, and peppers. So just give some examples. You can cook, let's say, beans with tomato. Or more simply, you can add lemon in your food. Next, we will focus on the appropriate dietary pattern for students, then on some health behaviors, and finally, on foods that are related to academic performance. What is the appropriate dietary pattern? The appropriate dietary pattern for students is the Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet affects students' mental and physical health status. Mediterranean diet also has been related to better cognitive function in students. Higher Mediterranean diet adherence has been associated with better academic performance, while a Western-type diet has been associated with worse cognitive performance. Mediterranean diet also promotes quality of life. Here is a study conducted in Spain included about 1,400 students with mean age of 12 years. The purpose of the study was to examine the adherence to the Mediterranean diet and academic performance. Black column represents a poor adherence to the Mediterranean diet. Gray column represents an average adherence to the Mediterranean diet, and a white column represents a good adherence to the Mediterranean diet. As you can see, students with good adherence to the Mediterranean diet had statistically significant higher scores in math and language compared to the other groups. Respectively, the group of average adherence to the Mediterranean diet had higher scores in math and language compared of poor adherence to the Mediterranean diet. Generally, as you can see, the group of good adherence to the Mediterranean diet had significantly higher scores in all academic indicators. So it's important to remember what is the Mediterranean diet. Mediterranean diet suggests high consumption of fruits, vegetables, unprocessed cereals, olive oil, nuts, and seafoods. Also suggests moderate consumption of dairy products, eggs, poultry, and red wine, and low consumption of red meat and sweets. Studies show that high adherence to this dietary pattern is associated with reduced risk for several chronic diseases, from cardiovascular disease to cancer and diabetes. Higher Mediterranean diet adherence is significantly associated with lower risk of depression. We will focus on some health behaviors. Breakfast is a habit very important for students. There is positive effect of habitual breakfast consumption on academic performance. More frequent consumption and higher nutritional quality of breakfast are positively associated with academic achievement. Here is another study conducted in college students in Texas. You can see many students, of about 1,300 students. The purpose of the study was to examine the effect of breakfast upon their grade on general biology exam. According to the results, there was significant difference in the performance of those who had eaten breakfast and those that did not have breakfast. You can see more A's, more B's for students that are consuming breakfast. Unfortunately, more D's, more F's for students that don't consume breakfast. Let's see some easy breakfast ideas in order to boost your memory. We suggest yogurt with fruits and nuts, yogurt with oats, honey, cinnamon. You can eat egg with bread, little cheese, milk with whole grain cereals, milk with toast, overnight oats. Another good behavior for students is for everyone is the consumption of small and frequent meals. So it's good to have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and 2 to 3 snacks through the day. Small and frequent meals provide adequate energy to fuel cognitive function and also provide vehicle for nutrients delivery. Consuming at least 2 regular meals per day was associated with higher GPAs. What is GPA? GPA is the average of grades achieved across all study subjects completed. So here are some clever snack ideas, easy to have, like yogurt, fruits, nuts, seeds, cheese, oatmeal fruit bar, overnight oats, honey sesame bar for energy, shouchoukos. You know shouchoukos? Shouchoukos is a Cypriot traditional sweet made with flour and grape juice or carob syrup. This period you can find shouchoukos, you can find palouzes, bananas with peanut butter, popcorn. And let's see about foods that are related to academic performance. Of course, fruits, and studies show that students consuming 2 or more servings of fruit attain higher academic achievement. So it's important to consume fruits every day, 2 to 3 portions. Fish also related with academic achievement. There is a high association between fish consumption and cognitive performance and academic achievement. Fish intake was inversely associated with risk of depressive symptoms in undergraduate students. So you have to eat smart. Here are some good health behaviors such as breakfast consumption, regular meals, high consumption of fruits and vegetables, high consumption of fish and nuts, high adherence to a healthy dietary pattern such as Mediterranean diet, being physically active, attaining adequate sleep. All these good health behaviors lead to academic achievement. On the other hand side, bad health behaviors such as excessive alcohol use, sleep deprivation, high consumption of junk food, regular consumption of soft drinks, and low adherence to the Mediterranean diet does not lead to academic achievement. Therefore, students should strive to eat a balanced diet of whole grains, proteins, dairy, fruits, and vegetables. Finally, we have to sample daily diet plan for smart students. Let's see the first one. For breakfast, you can have yogurt with oats, banana, and walnuts. For snack, between breakfast and lunch, you can have a toast with egg, cheese, tomato, and lettuce. You can have a fruit like an apple. For lunch, we suggest lemony chickpeas with spinach. We have this food in cafeteria. Our cafeteria have healthy options. So lemony chickpeas with spinach, olive oil, and wholemeal bread. For snack, iced latte with sesame bar. For dinner, salad with chicken or cheese, quinoa, beetroot, avocado, sunflower seeds. So it's good to include seeds in your salads, and dressing with olive oil and lemon. And for snack, after going to bed, you can have seasonal fruits such as pomegranate and some nuts such as almonds. Another diet plan for smart students. For breakfast, you can have a cup of milk. You can have also egg, little bread with little cheese, tomato. For snack, overnight oats with chia seeds, banana, and peanut butter. For lunch, you can have fish with rice, salad, and olive oil. Don't forget olive oil. After, for snack, you can have guavas. Guavas are high source of vitamin C, the best source of vitamin C. You can find this fruit this period, so it's good to consume. So guavas with walnuts. For dinner, our suggestion is pasta with fresh tomatoes, olive oil, and grated cheese. And before going to bed, you can have a fruit. We suggest grapes. Thank you very much. All the best for a happy academic year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elena, for the very useful presentation. And now we have come to an end for the presentations of the first part. Let me tell you a bit, and here we would like to say thank you very much to Cyprus College Limassol for being with us. I hope you find it useful. Use these tips, it's gonna be for your own benefit. And we will see you tomorrow at the picnic. So let me now tell you how we go on for those that we are here. We have a break with a DJ, and we have students of the Nutrition and Dietetics will gonna be offering for you energy balls and other snacks. After that, we have one last presentation. Please come. And following the last presentation, we are going to have here police officers. It's a very interesting presentation. We are going to have a police officer with a police motorbike where you can sit and try how they are using it. Have simulation glasses to see, and it's very fun, how you drive when you are with alcohol and drugs when there is use, and we finish today. Tomorrow, for those of you who register, we have the picnic. We have a very big attendance. I still have a lot of students that are expecting if they can come. If you have any question, please find me at the break, and we can discuss about it. So, see you back at 11:35. Thank you.